It is totally their responsibility. And if they had taken care of the business earlier, we wouldn't be in this situation right now.
The WNBA has a big problem, and the Indiana Fever are done staying silent. What happened to Caitlin Clark against the Connecticut Sun wasn't just a missed call. It wasn't some random mistake. It's a pattern, and it keeps happening.
Here is the problem. So many of these incidents are happening towards Indiana Fever players, particularly Caitlin Clark.
Instead of celebrating the fact that the Fever just made it to the Commissioner's Cup Finals, a major achievement, the sports world is focused on something else. The dangerous way Caitlin Clark keeps getting treated on the court. This time, it wasn't just physical play. The refs let the Sun go after the face of the league and did nothing about it. And when Fever head coach Stephanie White stepped up for her post-game interview, you could tell right away this wasn't going to be a polite, measured response. She was gearing up to deliver a knockout blow.
Dylan, for this first, I know you and JC go way back to the Big Ten. What was going on with the chip-in there, and what explanation were you given for the tech that you got?
I'll take the official questions.
I've got all the highlights coming up. Because this wasn't just a game, it was an epic takedown that needed to happen. If we learned anything from what went down on the court, and from Stephanie White's no-holds-barred post-game presser, it's this. The WNBA didn't just fail to learn from the 5 games Caitlin Clark already missed. They've been ignoring the warnings for a long time, and now? The Fever have officially had enough. So let's break down the on-court chaos, the post-game smackdown, and the sports world's reaction, because this may have been the breaking point everyone saw coming. But first, like this video and drop some sunglasses in the comments, because at this rate, Caitlin Clark might need to start wearing goggles just to stay safe out there. Now, let's set the scene. It was a Commissioner's Cup showdown against the Connecticut Sun. Yes, the Sun are bottom-tier WNBA drama starters, but because they handed the Fever a tough loss earlier this season, this game had extra weight. The Fever came out hot, building a lead, but from the jump, there were signs that something explosive was coming.
And Caitlin Clark are talking to the official. They're both going at it, saying, hey, oh, there's a little extra right there. Uh-oh.
Of course, we had JC Sheldon in the mix. Yeah, that JC Sheldon. The same one who took out both Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Colson earlier this season. Well, it looks like she was going for the Fever injury hat trick this time.
Watch when Caitlin Clark is trying to create some space. It looked like she just got hit in the eye there.
Ooh, and Marina Mabry, I missed that one, Idona.
Oh, I missed that one too.
JC went straight at the literal face of the league. And in the chaos that followed, Marina Mabry bodychecked Caitlin Clark to the floor. Fans couldn't help but flash back to that exact moment from last season. Because of course, this is starting to feel all too familiar.
Necessary, Candy Carter.
In just one wild sequence, the Connecticut Sun pulled off a greatest hits combo of the WNBA's go-to attacks on Caitlin Clark. The eye claw and the blindside body check, and honestly, anyone with functioning eyeballs not scratched by JC Sheldon's talons could see, this was the perfect moment for the league to finally step up. To send a clear message that their biggest star deserves basic protection on the court.
You can't claw someone in the eye! Eject her! Eject both of them! Eject both of them! So there's nothing there, Nothing there. JC Sheldon claws her in the eye. Then, the two of them get into it, and then Mabry just goes and shoves her onto the ground. Eject both of them! Eject both of them! Eject both of them!
After all, you'd think that after Caitlin Clark missed 5 games and ratings tanked, the WNBA would finally get the message, maybe be a little more careful, maybe even protect the one player actually keeping the league afloat, but no. It's the WNBA. So instead, we got this.
Wait, JC Sheldon got away with clawing her in the face. Caitlin got teed up for getting clawed in the face. They didn't even call it a common foul. They didn't call it a common foul. They didn't even call it a common foul. Oh my God. They don't care about players. They don't care about players.
No ejections. And somehow, Caitlin Clark ended up getting hit with a technical. Absolutely insane. Then came the reaction, and this is where things exploded. Fans, analysts, even former players, they weren't just upset. They were furious.
When I tell you, social media is setting the WNBA on fire right now, not in a good way, that's the understatement.
The entire basketball world started calling out just how badly the league was treating Caitlin Clark. Even Sentel didn't try to crack a joke, he just posted exactly what happened. Because honestly, it didn't need a punchline, what was going on was already so absurd. The truth was stranger than fiction.
Yeah, it looked like Caitlin got hit hard, both by JC Sheldon and Marina Mabry there.
I would not be.
Analysts were beside themselves, genuinely in utter disbelief that Marina Mabry wasn't ejected. You could see it on their faces, hear it in their voices. This wasn't just a missed call. It felt like a breaking point, because when the face of the league is getting thrown to the floor, and she's the one getting whistled, something's seriously broken, and even the calmest voices in the room were saying the same thing. Something has to be done. 11 interview. And the one voice everyone was waiting to hear from, Fever head coach Stephanie White. Spoiler alert. She didn't just speak, she dropped a full-blown nuke on the WNBA. And we'll get to that in just a moment, but first, there are two things we can't let get lost in all this chaos. One, the resilience of Caitlin Clark. After taking yet another beating on national TV, with the game on the line and the crowd on their feet, she didn't just hang in there, she closed it out in legendary fashion. Clark stepped up and drilled a cold-blooded three. Right over JC Sheldon to seal it. You couldn't script that moment better if you tried.
All right, enough is enough. You know, at some point, the line gets crossed too often where something needs to be done and things need to be corrected. And that is certainly the case with the way things around Caitlin Clark are officiated. This is a constant problem now. You know, it is something that since the beginning, I've kind of backed off on, because physical play is a part of sports. You know, going after a superstar and trying to rough them up a little bit to get in their head is a part of sports. But when it crosses the line, the referees need to do their jobs. They need to do their jobs, blow the whistle, and officiate properly.
And the best part, the trash talk. Caitlin didn't just hit the dagger, she let them hear about it. You can see it in the clips from every angle. That shot wasn't just a bucket. It was a statement.
Okay.
All right. Here is Clark splashing home a three from way downtown.
But then there's this, and it's absolutely incredible. After the game, the Fever themselves posted Caitlin's reaction in slow motion on X. That wasn't just a celebration. That was a message, and of course, we can't forget about this.
With her hand in her face. Competitive.
But then
Sophie Cunningham. This is exactly what the Fever needed. She delivered some sweet, sweet revenge on JC Sheldon, taking her down with a hard, clear-as-day flagrant foul that sparked a full-on brawl. And honestly, that's why Sophie's here. She was brought in to send messages, to be the enforcer, to make sure that when other teams start taking cheap shots at Caitlin Clark, there are consequences.
Sheldon going coast to coast. And here's we got another break is here as JC Sheldon goes right after Sophie Cunningham.
That's right, no more freebies. No more soft responses. The Fever are done being passive. And Sophie Cunningham made that crystal clear. The crowd? They loved it, but here's the part that matters most.
This was all game, folks. All game. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever were getting checked. All game. The Indiana Fever were getting punked. All game. The referees let this physical style of basketball continue and continue and continue and continue and continue and continue. And eventually, Sophie Cunningham had enough.
How often do you hear broadcast commentators openly calling out the refs for completely losing control of a game? That's how bad it got when officials don't make the calls they should. When they fail to stop dangerous play early. This is what happens. Vigilante justice, retaliation, chaos. And that's exactly what we saw, but the moment everyone was waiting for. The reaction off the court. Stephanie White had already gone off on the refs earlier this season. She even got fined for it, but this was different. This wasn't just about bad officiating anymore. This was about targeted, repeated, dangerous abuse. Against the league's biggest star, right in front of millions, and this time, Stephanie White didn't just speak up, she nuked the WNBA from orbit.